Hey, welcome to the Goal Weekly Show. It's Pete here, and I've got Straight Jacket Jim and Reflex. How are you, lads?
Doing brilliant.
Yeah, going well.
Love
I
it.
see that
Love it live.
beautiful mustachio coming through nicely for Movember. There, straight.
Oh yeah, go on the chopper this year.
Yeah, looks good.
What are you up to at the moment for support?
I was just looking at that. I know my personal space. I think I'm at 309 now. There you go. Just had a look at that.
Damn.
One of my good mates. He was the first to donate, and of course he had to donate 69. Nice.
Hey,
Nice.
But the Goa team. Let me just check what we are on. We are on 349.
That's sick. Hang on. Here we go. I've got this Rodecaster Pro here, and I've got sound effects like set up in my button bar.
Go on then.
So that's a. You won't be able to hear that, you two, but people listening can hear
I
that.
got audio slightly on the stream.
Oh, do you? Oh, great, awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you say something, so give me the that line about 69 again, straight.
Yeah. So the mate that donated first donated $69.
It's a little laugh track, straight. It's a laugh
That's
track.
really good.
There's a laugh track there.
That's really good.
This is some really stupid shit here. Guys, Xbox 20. Far out.
Yeah.
There we go, eh? 20 years of
Yeah.
Xbox celebrated in a big way. It's a weird sort of thing, isn't it? I don't know. Don't get me wrong. It's the only way that it can clearly do these things at the moment, but live streams just fall flat for me. I get excited. I'm talking about live streams, to do with these major announcements or these really cool events and stuff like that. Right? Xbox anniversary celebration, 20 years. This is something that should be in a stadium. You know what I mean? And I'm not downplaying it. They're doing the best with what they have. Everybody's doing the exact same thing because of, COVID and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, there were plenty of times where I watched it and went, fuck, that's amazing. Or, goosebumps, or, when they started talking about all the things around accessibility and where they have been, where they are, where they're going. Well, that was all very cool stuff. And I actually have dropped on YouTube, I watched the whole thing and just did a bit of commentary on it. And watching it, I'm reacting and I'm like, holy shit, this is great. This is, but also it just being a live stream, just,
Yeah. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
No.
I want to be there. I want to be there, a part of it. I want to be there. And even if I can't be there, I think it would still be cooler, with seeing a crowd there and seeing awesome shit happening that's live. How freaking cool would it be to see to see the stage open up and for them to drive, Forza 5 drive in an AMG, have Master Chief actually appear on stage, or maybe he's driving a Warthog. I don't know. It's, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, it's something that I think, even if you can't watch it live yourself, seeing the crowd reaction to stuff and how they freak out about things, the reaction is half the fun. Twitch chat always goes off, or whatever live chat always goes off for those things. And it's not the same as people yelling and screaming and clapping and whatnot to watch. It's still great to see everything, like you say, but it just doesn't have that same feel.
We haven't had anything even remotely big announcement-wise here in New Zealand. I mean, we get the occasional concert with like big names and stuff, and going to those is always really cool. But like similarly to what you were saying as well a couple of weeks ago, Pete, about the Star Wars concert film that you went to, you said it's different being there than it is, listening to your soundtrack on maybe expensive speakers at home. I don't know, but you don't you don't get the feel watching it on a screen that you do being a part of it. It's not just Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. It's everything.
Yeah, it was the Star Wars with the West Australian Symphony Orchestra, and it was amazing because you got to feel everything, you know. But it's kind of like. It's kind of like when I watch AFL, for example. So when I lived in Queensland for a couple of years, being a Fremantle Dockers supporter here in, supporting a West Australian team and living in a state that's predominantly a rugby state, like rugby and rugby league, the only ways that I could generally watch the Fremantle Dockers play is by going to the AFL app and watching the quarters after the fact, like after it had been played. And even though I'd not check the scores or anything, so I could get as close to watching it live as possible and, not have the surprise spoiled or anything like that, it still doesn't feel the same as watching it live, even if it is on a TV. Like there's just these little idiosyncrasies that sort of add to something. But I'm playing it down a little bit for what they had. They did a fantastic job. And one of the comments that I made was that I just feel like Xbox is owning the fuck out of games.
Oh, yeah. Microsoft. I mean, like, we had Call of Duty Vanguard, came out recently. Yeah, okay. We had Battlefield come out. Like, yeah, okay. Both not small names, right? Not small names at all. And then Microsoft are like, oh, hey, here you go, have this early. Oh, and by the way, it's free. Suck it, the rest of you. We've got this.
Yeah.
And I haven't played Battlefield or Vanguard since. I haven't even looked at them. I've just been playing Halo. And it's not for a nostalgia point of view. It's because it's fun. It's just fun. It doesn't take itself serious. It doesn't take itself as like you must do this or you are not doing the military thing. But it's fun. It's just fun. And there's not enough games out there at the moment that are like that. And for Microsoft to not only own the Xbox scene, but to literally give everyone else the middle finger and say, well, you can do it, we can do it better. And have done. Yeah, it's Microsoft. I won't say there's nothing they can do wrong, because being a IT engineer, yes, there is. But, yeah, they've done well. They've done really well. And are still doing it.
I think that Microsoft have learned from their mistakes. Like, you look back to the launch of the Xbox One, where it was always online. You pre-owned, you had to, like, if the game wasn't yours, you had to buy a token to make it work and all that sort of stuff. And all this sort of things that just hit hard. Like, and gamers went, you fucking what? We're not doing that.
I think the Xbox One is a great point to bring up, because I've had this discussion before. I can't remember with who it was, but the Xbox One was delivered as a media center. And like even the messaging around it was all like, this is an ultimate media center. You're going to watch videos and play audio and this, that, and the other. And like, it wasn't about the games. And then it just feels like with the Xbox Series X and S and the last, I guess, 2 to 3 years in the lead up to the launch of it and all that sort of stuff, like the main message has been, when everybody plays, we all win.
Yeah.
And it's been so...
I would even say after the first year of the Xbox One, because they just went, that was such a disaster. Let's take a step back and let's refocus on something else. And I think Phil Spencer's a lot to do with that, because he's just gone, it's about the games now. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to focus on. And they've just done it really well.
Game Pass, for one. There's another thing as well that's just...
Oh, it's the ultimate tool, isn't it? It's incredible. For them to be able to... Like, the Series X is the first... Hey, Menthy.
Hey.
Is that a Elon Musk tweet shirt?
Sure is.
Now, it says Big Ass Fans are great. You work for Big Ass Fans, but is that a legit tweet?
Yes. He tweeted it like a month ago, and we decided, you know what? Yeah, let's just put it on a shirt.
That is fucking wicked. That's amazing. We're just talking about Xbox 20.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we're onto Game Pass at the moment. Game Pass is the ultimate tool. Like, I've always been a PlayStation person, and then moved into PC like the last sort of 5 years, and then got the Xbox. The Series X is my first Xbox console, and Game Pass Ultimate came with it on day one. And man, it's such an incredible tool. And for them to have EA, for them to have Bethesda, for them to have ID at Xbox with all of those independent developers under their canopy, and to be able to release major AAA games on day one, and that's part of the sell. Like, you sign up to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and you get to play these games on launch day as part of your subscription. I mean, I'd happily pay Forza 5. I'd happily pay $100 for that game. I'd happily pay $100 for Halo Infinite and the multiplayer. Like, I'd happily pay over and above what I'm paying to get them on Game Pass. It's insane.
What are you paying for Game Pass?
I'm paying $17 a month, and I'm on the ultimate one. Yeah. So that's the highest one. It's paid for itself this year already with the games that I've. It paid for itself about halfway through the year with the games that I'd played.
Are you paying? Is that monthly? That's not a 12. Yeah,
that's monthly.
Okay, it probably comes down to what, $15 if you pay a year's worth of subscription up front.
Something like that. Yeah, they do the whole lot in one go, and you save total $30 or $40 over the lot.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like Nintendo Switch, the price rise on Nintendo Online is something that I am struggling with a little bit at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I know we got the N64 games, but like, I haven't touched it. I mucked around with Yoshi's Story for a little bit, and it was cool. Like, it was that great nostalgia hit, having those games and jumping into them. And then actually, you know, like, my daughter Mila, our eldest, who's getting into it at the moment, getting into games and playing them, I'm like, here, you got to play Super Mario 64. So, like, it's cool for that. But for me, I'm too busy with Game Pass because there's just epic shit all over it.
You can just emulate games like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I mean, you're right. Like, with the other passes, I mean, EA have theirs, Ubisoft have theirs. It's not just Microsoft who are doing it. I think at this stage, they're the cheapest for their ultimate option. Ubisoft's most entry-level one's something like $25 a month. And for that, you get, well, you know, the entire library. But it's when you're looking at the options that you get out of the entire library set, you know, Ubisoft and whatnot have the bit up there. And on just going back to the whole Nintendo Switch thing as well, last time I even wanted to use my Switch was when we had the Mario Party games all that time ago. That I haven't used it since then because, well, I don't want to pay $120 for a, you know, semi 2D, 3D side scroller or something else. Nothing's really grabbing my attention. But just Game Pass, especially Microsoft's Game Pass, not that we're being paid to say this, are we? There wasn't a dotted line we forgot to sign. Nobody signed before we came in here saying Microsoft is good. But like, they are really doing it right. And you know, just, who said it in chat just then? Taxi. Surprise Steam hasn't done one yet. And quite frankly, I think if Steam were to do one, I don't know what the Lord would have to do.
But with Steam, like, I mean, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because how do you price Steam? The library is that big. It's huge.
Tens of thousands of games.
But by the same token, though, not every game is on Games Pass. Like, every Microsoft game is, but not every game on the system is there. So,
That's
like,
true.
if Valve came up and said, we're going to do Games Pass on Steam, they could put all the Valve games on there and say, you play this, and then bring in all the little bits and pieces and do it that way. So I think, you know, Steam could do it that similar sort of model as well. In fact, I might even go one step further because I think there's a lot more indies on Steam than there are any other platform. Maybe even have an indie game Games Pass sort of thing.
That's never their whole idea that was never their idea as the platform. Their platform was there purely as a cloud-based gaming service, where you look at Game Pass. It was designed. The Microsoft Store was pretty much designed with Game Pass in mind, whereas Steam has been around long enough to just do what it does.
Yeah, Steam's more a marketplace, and because Steam doesn't really make their own games, like Valve comes out with one every now and then, but not as much as what Microsoft does. So they're just happy being a shop front, I think, with Valve.
I was going to say, if Valve did one, they would have to actually do something.
Yeah.
Well,
What
I
was
mean,
the last game they had? Alex?
Yeah, I think so.
Half-Life
Half-Life Alex.
Half-Life Alex, and imagine if they
years ago
finally
now.
came out with Half-Life 3. I mean, that would probably be we're releasing a subscription platform moment. Because that would get the most.
Yeah.
Like, hey, everybody, we've arrived. Keep chatting. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But,
I'll openly put my hand up and say I don't have Game Pass. I've looked into it in the past, but I have enough games in my backlog as it is to not have to pay for something else for more games to play. Like I've got, I think 200, if I have a quick look now, I've got 102 games in my Steam library, and I've played a quarter of them, if that.
Yeah, see, I'm not one to buy a game just because it's on sale either. So my Steam library's not as big, and also I came to PC gaming a bit later.
Hey Flexi, what's your Steam library? 400, 500 more?
And the rest? Hang on. I
1,000?
currently don't filter. 1,143.
Hang on, how can I
And I have
see?
Game Pass.
Oh boy.
How
So
can
if
I
you
see
click
how many
on
games?
Click
So
on your
do you-
Steam, go to your library.
Library, and
then
then right up
I
the
got
top.
78.
Yeah, so you're not that far off me, to be fair.
But I've played most of mine as well. But I don't buy the games until I have. I'm just going through the list at the moment.
Oh, if I see a game on sale and it's been on my list of I want to play this, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
With the intent of playing it, because come the time that I want to play it, if it's full price, I'm not going to buy it. Straight up. It's at the moment I'm looking at probably half a dozen games that I'm actually intrigued in playing. I just can't justify paying full price for them when I know Steam does sales every second Friday.
Yeah,
true.
I'd much
My
rather
big
just
one,
wait.
my big one, especially post COVID kickoff and lack of employment, was Flight Simulator. I couldn't justify paying $120 for Flight Simulator when I knew, realistically with whatever the surgery or whatever was going to happen, I wasn't really going to be up and able to play it all that much and sink as many hours into it. So when it came to Game Pass and you get Microsoft Flight Simulator on the day, it's like, yeah, cool. I'm going to play the shit out of it for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it'll just go on the back burner. And I think I've installed it maybe 2-3 times after that and go back to it for a couple of hours worth of flights. Yeah, it's good to just, for those kind of people who aren't like, I'm getting a game, I'm going to play it to finish, then I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm going to play this. It's good for people who just want, say, Forza Horizon 5 came out. Yeah, sweet, cool. I mean,
Let's play it for half an hour.
yeah, well, I mean, there was a workaround for getting it early, which was if you bought the Big Daddy Dick Special Mega Edition for $173 million or whatever the fuck it was, you get the game a week early. Or if you have standard Game Pass, you can pay a one-off fee of worked out to be something like 65 New Zealand dollars. The premium edition of the game, everything in the premium edition, all the benefits and everything you gets applied to your copy of the, $3, $4, $5 a month Game Pass standard edition you get, plus you get the early access.
Oh, damn.
But you don't have to pay $170. So once you're done with it, the game will go away when you stop paying for Game Pass. You don't get to play the game when your Game Pass is expired, but when you do come back to the game, you're always going to have the full premium edition and benefits that you would have got if you'd spent $170, but instead you've saved yourself $105 or something. So
yeah, it's not bad.
For them to be doing more games like that would be awesome. So you don't want to pay $180, $190. You can still get it on Game Pass, but still get the benefits. Stuff like that's cool. But so far, Forza Horizon 5 is the only one that's done that. And quite frankly, I mean, if going back on the list of games that were released this month, that and Microsoft doing it right, Forza Horizon 5 is very close to a perfect in a lot of places. it's just a bit unstable, and
Just
that'll be fixed in patches.
Trying to set the precedent.
Yeah, it's what Horizon, it's what the first 4 should have been, without knowing it. And I was a bit iffy about Mexico and the setting of Mexico, but it kind of worked out. I didn't really want to be driving around in clapped out Ford Explorers with armored windows and doors because of drug cartels and whatnot. But hey, made it work.
MK Ultra just popping out of a bin, going hello.
Yeah, hey, Reflex, my friend. I don't know why he's Spanish now.
Yeah, just on Game Pass at the moment. If you haven't joined Game Pass before, you can get your first 3 months for $1.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you pay for PC, because why would you do anything else? You pay $10.95 a month.
Yeah. They've upped that. Back when they announced Game Pass 3 years ago, before COVID destroyed the world's sense of entertainment, and everyone had to do it all via TV, they actually announced that as $1 for the first month. So the fact that they've now moved it up, that's Jesus Christ, Dick. I don't know why I expect you to come from the other way.
Yeah, I know.
You can't hear me.
You can't hear you at all.
You just gave me a fright, because you're on my screen, Pete, and you went that way when you left. And then you just wander in closer to the camera than when you left. I'm like, what the fuck? There's a big bronze man there.
Hey, Oxleisha.
But yeah, I reckon they've just done that for new sign-ups as well. But yeah, because of COVID, $1 for 3 months, how can you say no?
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't like it and you don't want to keep paying for it, don't. Or just sign up with another Microsoft account and reap the benefits of another 3 months for $1. Exactly. But you didn't hear that from here. We didn't sign that clause on the Microsoft contract.
No. Well, if you do it, it's for, say, argument's sake, a month is 30 days. That ends up being Oh, no, actually, let's go back. So for 3 months, it ends up being 1.1 cent a day for Game Pass.
Yeah. Over that 3 month period.
Exactly. I remember Skittles was talking about value for money with me and Isaac the other day, basically saying how much I paid for it and how many hours I've gotten out of it. But yeah, for 1 cent a day, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and again, if you're basically paying more for power a day
you really
than you are for the actual content. You're paying more to use what you're using to play said content on. It's basically free real estate. Sorry, I had to throw that in there somewhere. No, it's cool. It's a really good thing, and I just want Ubisoft and EA to bring their prices down in line to match it, and I think I'll stop hating EA as much. No, I could never do that.
I could never stay mad at you.
Game Pass.
How's the setup going?
Sorry, what was that?
How's your setup going behind you? It's looking good.
Good, man. It's really good. But you know what I've worked out? So if you're listening to this as a podcast, I've put together a new setup. I've moved all of our stuff out of the garage. I've built a big black backdrop. I've put up shelving, and I've got a heap of my collectibles and stuff behind me just to create something cool. I've wanted to do this for ages. I've got a couple of light boxes coming, so I'm going to light the place up, which will be really good. But there's things like my N64 games, different consoles, Transformers, Lego. Gallahorn is here. My Forza Horizon 5.
You haven't had that out for ages.
No.
Ages. I remember in your old gaming room you used to have it out, sitting on top of one of your...
All the time.
Yeah.
But I have 3 kids now, so it's very rare it's very rare that I get my Gallahorn out. Even Nintendo Entertainment System's here. But what I've sort of I'm sort of coming to terms with whether or not it's a bit too cluttered. And I kind of feel like maybe less is more, but I'll fuck around with it. I can tell you guys what is going to happen, though. So top left of me, I'm currently quoting up a neon Goa logo.
Ooh. Is it still over $1,000 to get done?
No, I've managed to find a place. They're called Kings of Neon. And
that's a good name.
It's great. It's such a good name.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's so good. But they're called Kings of Neon, and they're the only ones who called me. and said, "Hey man, thanks for your email. I really appreciate it. Do you want to just talk through what you sort of think?" Only ones. All the other ones sent back an email just going, "It's going to cost you $1,500." So these guys have come in under $1,000.
Good.
And they're incredibly helpful. So
That's good.
big
That's what
ups. But yeah,
Sounds like the other guys just didn't want your work.
well, clearly.
But
I like how you spice rubs there too. That's like
yeah,
the
the
spice.
spice rub's definitely going to be there.
Love it.
Get a
Does
little,
it annoy
Yeah,
you
get
that
it,
all
yeah.
does it annoy you that all those shelves are not the same?
check that out, stream.
Height?
Well, it's a funny story about that. The reason why they're tiered and they're like cascade is because I am a shit driller holer.
Yep.
And so the back braces that I've got them attached to, they're not square.
Oh,
So if I put the shelving, so it's like when you go into a shop and you see those racks and they can muck around with shelving and put them higher and lower stuff. That's what I've got. So if I put the shelving down next to each other, because the back panel, there's two sides to it. So I put them down next to each other. They're off by around about half a centimeter, and it's really fucking.
and that's
frustrating.
enough. That's enough to annoy you.
It's plenty to piss me off.
Mm.
But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. That's cool. It's definitely better than being inside and having a shitty blank wall. But yeah.
And the thing is, it's going to get real hot in there in summer.
Oh, it already is. So to my right, I've got a roller door.
big
like
garage
that.
door.
That's where your garage door, isn't it?
Well, to my left is garage door. To my right is another garage door with back access, side access to the house. And I've got it cracked open.
Backdoor access.
Yeah, backdoor access with
Excellent.
my Gallahorn.
This place.
And I've got it cracked about 15 centimeters. There's a breeze coming through. That's
Yeah,
good.
cool.
Your back axis has a crack in it.
Yeah, and there's a breeze coming through.
Yeah, good.
What did we get up to with the Xbox?
I don't know anymore.
just talking about how good Games Pass is and why you should have it,
Oh yeah.
and
And
also
how-
why we're not shills for Xbox.
And we're not supported by Xbox.
No.
In fact, I tweet Xbox ANZ a fair bit and rarely ever hear anything back. Like we're not supported by them. Like we just appreciate good shit, and they are good shit.
What I said is I don't have it. I've never had it, but it's more the fact that my Steam library backlog is big enough as it is that I don't have time to, play anything else. But at the moment, for $1, you get 3 months. That's like sort of almost a no-brainer if you haven't signed up to it before. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Minty. That's great.
Yeah. Good chat, Pete. Good chat.
No, that's all right. You guys keep chatting. I'm tweeting so people know,
You're
know that
the
we're
one
live.
that asked us.
You've already
Did we
tweeted
discuss
this.
this?
Like I've seen the picture of all of us on Twitter already.
Yeah, but that was a response to Ubisoft. That was a response to a Logitech post.
We're on the internet already?
Yeah.
We're so on the
This isn't
internet.
being pre-recorded?
Oh.
No. This is live, man.
I know, I'm just messing with
You big poo poo.
Hey, I told you.
I told you. So Game
When
Pass.
we snuggle.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Did you all watch Xbox 20? Did you watch the live stream?
No, haven't.
You know who you're talking to, right?
Yeah, PC Master Race.
I need to get that tattoo.
Wasn't it on like it was on super early, man? I'm normally in bed for that stuff.
Yeah, it was on super early. I watched it later on, but it was a hell of a stream. Yeah, it was about 3 a.m. I think, Gam, if you're in WA. It
That's 7 a.m. my time. Still didn't get up.
was a cool stream. But there was the Halo Infinite announce, at the end of the stream, seeing 343 Industries and their team, and they have a quick chat, and then they have a quick chat about multiplayer, and then they go, by the way, surprise, you can play the beta right now. Excuse me. I reckon it's strategic. I don't think it's hey, this would be cool to do to coincide with the Xbox 20th anniversary live stream. I reckon it's strategic. I reckon it's I was speaking to one of the guys at EB Games about it today, and I was like, I reckon it's hey, Battlefield 2042, cop this.
Yeah, 127%. Otherwise, they would have just kept it December 9th.
8th, I think, for
December 8th.
for the campaign. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whatever the original release date was, they could have left it to that and gone, yeah, well, we could, but no, they've just gone big middle finger to the rest of you. Look what we've got.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Someone at Microsoft needs a pay rise.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I just had a quick Google of Xbox 20, and the first graphic, first image you see there is the OG Xbox boot up graphic.
Yes, and the sound that came with it. Mm.
There's a couple of YouTube channels that I follow, and one of them was an old Xbox game dev. And it's just a bit of a, I guess, trivia moment for you. Him and his team spent about 6 months going back when working on the Xbox One and later consoles. They spent about 6 months trying to get hold of the original video of that. They were adamant it was a pre-rendered video. They needed to find the files for the pre-rendered video. Until someone who worked on it at the time came back and said, no, it's not a pre-rendered video. The console rendered that every time on the fly. You turn the console on.
Oh, wow.
That's not an MP4. That's the graphics card doing the work every time.
So
it was never recorded.
For a dickhead like me, can you explain the significance of that?
Yeah, sure. So, like, you play a video game, right? And, you're looking at a video game, 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. You're seeing your graphics card do that work in front of you then and there.
Right.
Back in the day when these consoles were, the next big thing, that was virtually unheard of to have something like that, at that level of degree, because that was quite impressive for a console at the time. Like, seeing that video, everyone's like, ooh, wow, that's actually really cool. Surely that's something they've rendered on a big fuck-off server farm, chucked it in a little, MP4, whatever kind of video format, and the console goes, power on, yep, cool, play the video. No, this console is... Friend request from Jinxie Blossom. Don't know who you are. So, that console boots up every time, kicks the graphics card into go and says, render this frame. 30 not even 30 seconds, it was like 6 or 7 seconds worth of video and sound. But it just goes to show that, like, from the get-go, the literal first power button you press, they're about gaming. The thing is doing something gaming related from the get-go. And nobody knew that until, they went back in time, found a dude that was working on it, and was like, no, mate, there's no video for that. That's all on the fly.
Fuck, that's cool.
It's brilliant.
That is cool.
It's awesome.
Considering the year and the era of the technology, 100%.
Crazy, man.
Crazy times, bros.
Hyperkin Duke controller has a screen that shows the OG boot up. Don't know what a Hyperkin is. Sounds like a Pokemon.
Halo.
Hyperkin, I choose you.
Xbox Series X Halo editions come out next week.
Nice.
Very excited. I haven't. It's been. Well, actually, just thinking back, I've never bought a special edition console.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never. I've never purchased a special edition console ever.
I did the Gears of War 3 special edition console.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I've still got it with a controller as well. But when I bought it, it came with a standard copy of the game. But I wanted the limited edition copy, so I literally bought the Xbox. The second I took the Xbox, I opened it up, gave him the game, and said, "I want to trade this in for the limited edition version."
Brilliant.
Good. It worked well. The dude's like, "Are you serious? Like, we've never had a trade-in of a brand new game this quick." I'm like, "I don't want the standard edition. I want all the stuff that comes with the limited edition." He's like, "Okay, that's fair." What's
a question without notice? And while you guys think about it, I'll tell you mine. But what is your fondest memory of picking up something at launch? And I'll give you mine. It was 2012. And it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It was the limited edition. Was it 2012 or 20? It was 2012. I'm sure it was 2012. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. There was an EB game. So I lived in Canberra in a place called Gungahlin. And at this particular point in time, it was nothing much more than like half a dozen apartments and a strip with just a tiny shopping centre, a good Woolworths, a good butcher. But it had a fucking EB Games there. And it was at midnight launch. So like I woke up at like 11:45, got into my gear, went downstairs, and just, it was like a party. Like Gungahlin had never seen so many people. And we all just went fucking ballistic, having a laugh, having a great time, waiting for EB Games. So you could see them through the clear roller door, like they were busy running around getting shit ready. And then, you know, they opened up the roller door and everybody cheered and it was like noise and all that sort of stuff. And then we all got in line and, you know, just talking about it and showing each other shit and, you know, what did you get and which one did you get and this, that, and the other. Definitely my fondest day one launch purchase ever. And I just don't feel like we get that these days anymore. I don't know that there's that hype anymore.
Well, nobody releases physical games anymore.
Yeah, I was about to say, with digital releases, like there's the people that are mad keen on getting them, unless they're a collector's edition, people don't really get that. Like I've never been to a midnight launch, and I couldn't tell you anywhere in Perth that does midnight launches for games anymore, even big ones.
We don't have them here anymore.
Yeah.
We barely have a movie cinema here anymore.
Yeah, where it's literally like all digital these days, so you don't really get that kind of stuff.
I know what my one was. It was the Modern Warfare 2 Night Vision Goggles edition in 2009.
Oh, yes.
And the reason that was the biggest one for me is because at that time, I was massive into airsoft. You guys don't have that there, but for those who do know what it is, it's like paintball, but with BB guns and realistic-looking weapons. And it's a lot of fun. I still have scars and welts all over my body from getting absolutely railed by this stuff, all these years. So we ended up having a bunch of people got reached out to on the forums. That was the main airsoft forums for New Zealand. And the EB Games in my area, me and about 8 others were asked to dress up in full gear, carrying replica assault rifles through this mall, past the food court, to go and stand up post outside EB Games until midnight. And the looks on these poor elderly women's faces was fucking brilliant. But yeah, we were doing that, all evening. Mall shut, we waited. EB Games opened, and yeah, best thing I ever got was, that night vision kit, and then getting to walk through the middle of a city dressed like I wanted to.
That's sick.
Take it for my own. It's good fun. Couldn't get away with that here anymore, though.
I've got 2, and they're very, very close. Number 1 is the exact same as yours, Flexi. Modern Warfare, November 2009, Modern Warfare 2. The day it released, I couldn't go to the midnight launch because the day after, or the day of the launch, or the day after, or however you want to look at it, was my Year 12 farewell service at school. So that was when that was literally our final day of school. We weren't going back to school besides our Year 12 exams. The second I walked out of this service, everyone's like all in tears and everyone's like congratulating each other and spending time with their families. I literally got up to my best mate Reese and I'm like, you know what we're doing, right? He's like, why the fuck are we still here? Jumped in his car, drove to EB Games, picked up the game, went home and did like a 12-hour gaming session. Both our parents were so shitty with us because they're like, where the fuck did you go? We wanted to get photos. And we're like, sorry, can't help it.
More important things to do.
Yeah.
Priorities, Mum. You wouldn't know.
And you missed out on your rendition of "Take all the photographs and still frames in your mind, hang them on a shelf in good health and good time." Fucking every single farewell thing that I ever went to, I was Levers 2002, and that's what played.
What was it?
I think I know what you're going to talk about. Was it a chick song?
There's that graduation song.
Yeah, Graduation.
Go on, we'll remember. Yeah, that's the one.
All the times we spent together.
I left a year early. Last thing I had to do was get the little library card signed from the librarian saying I didn't owe any books before I could leave, and the principal would sign it off. That's how little I cared for leaving.
Hydrate, Lana.
Great.
There you go. Llama,
around.
man, I haven't seen
Thank
you
you,
in
Llama.
ages. Where have you been, Llama?
Yeah.
Good to see you pop in.
Oh, that's it.
But yeah,
Vitamin C. Yeah, vitamin C.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what Flexi said.
That's
Yeah.
Heckers. Oh, sorry.
I literally did. No,
yeah,
it's fine. I get
So
it.
he's
My-
like, it's like
Racist.
I literally
it's a
said
close.
that.
It's
It
a
was
close
his accent.
toss-up.
You didn't know.
It's a close toss-up between that and in 2008 the Wrath of the Lich King launch. I went to the midnight launch of that, and this was in the city, and there was a good 1,000-1,500 people lined up at this EV Games to get in. People dressed up in cosplay. It was full on. It was real cool.
That is sick.
The closest that it probably came for me, I'm probably thinking it's the Wii launch, like the original Wii launch, like because
Oh.
when the Wii was first announced, I thought I'm not sure about this. I'm gonna wait and whatnot. But Nintendo went hard, and like so many shopping centers had the Wii for you to go and try. And I've gone there and like I've done the Wii Sports stuff. What's that say? I can't read it. My eyes. Yeah.
Good.
Quantum.
Oh, right,
Quantum.
Quantum.
What's up?
Cheeky plug.
But yeah, so I've gone and played with this, and straight away I've walked from playing with, because I think they had a little bit of a demo of Twilight Princess from Legend of Zelda as well, and I'm playing it and I'm going, I really like this. Then went and just pre-ordered it straight away, and there was a lot of anticipation when I went to pick that up, and just like me and my mates would just sit there, we'd play tennis in Wii Sports, man. It's like Wii Sports was the shit.
Two things.
Yep. And you'd like stand up right at the net and just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just flick.
You just that.
It was like that. So Wii Sports.
Good. It was good wrist.
Yeah, so good.
Strength building.
Yeah.
So highly underrated. Wii Sports was fucking incredible. But the Wii's an interesting one to bring up, because I think the reason why I'll always remember the Wii, because it was November 19 was launch day, I think. November 19, I know it's around that date, and the reason being is because November 20 is my birthday, so I know it was around that, it was somewhere there, but it was the first time Nintendo had launched a console without Super Mario.
That's a lie. GameCube launched here without Mario, because it was
Did it?
Luigi's Mansion instead.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was too.
Yeah.
I'll see myself
just
out.
throw something out there that
Shut the
it's
fuck up,
brought
Pete.
up in chat. iToy, PS2 iToy.
Oh my god.
God, get
that.
fucked.
Oh.
And Buzz.
Boy, oh boy, that was old
That
school.
guy Smiley looking motherfucker.
I remember seeing the iToy at every single Dick Smith.
Mm.
Every single one of them had the iToy on,
And you do the punching and stuff.
yeah, and the soapy, clean the windows and all that shit. But the thing is, they never cleaned the display cabinet windows, so you didn't know what was dirt and what was bubbles anymore. You just looked like that one kid in the back of Dick Smith going, "What the fuck is going on, Dad?"
It's crazy that they brought that in, and then sooner Nintendo turned around and said, "Hey, here's the Wii. It's like the exact same thing except ours."
Yeah.
Sorry, Raven Sky. You're right.
And works well.
You're right. Oh,
Because
Bert
they had what do they have? Was the SingStar when all that started coming out
Yes.
for the PlayStation 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, they complained about all the shitty peripherals Nintendo brings out, but Sony, Jesus.
As soon as there's a guitar or a drum kit involved, everyone's like, "Oh, I must have this." Oh, Nintendo? No, I don't want any of those.
Well,
That'd be silly.
I got a hand Guitar Heroes. It was fucking cool though. Like it was.
Excuse me. Thank you.
I still
Is-
play Rock Band.
I
man.
haven't played it for a
still
long time.
play it.
I haven't played it for a long time, but they got that right. Rock Band. I'm not. Yeah. Look at it. Look at that guitar Menthy's holding up. They got Guitar Hero right.
The guitars, though, the guitar's hardware is aging. I literally had to end up pulling mine apart the other month, unsoldered a little switch and resoldered a new one back on, so it actually works properly. But hasn't worked better.
I have
I'm at the same point with my drums as well. Like the cymbals have started to break down, and Mad Cats don't make them anymore because for they were the ones that were making all the bits and pieces, and it's just either super expensive to get them secondhand. But I did find out for the cymbals at least you can buy like cheap electronic drum cymbals, and there's just a little modification you need to do to the cable to get it working again. So
Nice. Cool.
I've got that coming for me.
Neat.
a mate of mine in Canberra, when I left in 2002, at the end of 2011. Yeah, I left at the end of 2011. Canberra, moved to Brisbane, and a mate of mine who was there was like throwing out a heap of PS3 gear, and he had a Guitar Hero World Tour, like mega pack,
Mad.
pristine
I remember
condition.
that.
He said, "Here, man, you can have it." Like, great.
What?
Oh wow.
I was a little while ago. I was mucking around with stuff here at home. I put that mega pack on top of my car. Went and did something else, forgot about it. Had to go out, go to Bunnings. Went to
This is
Bunnings,
breaking my heart.
did what I had to, then drove home. And on my way home, get to my street, and I saw this box on the ground, totally fucked up. And I looked at it and I went, that looks really familiar.
Oh, fuck. That's the worst.
Oh, sad. It's just so sad. I've got it here, and the box looks like shit, and it just makes me so sad. But anyway,
The way you described that was. Oh man. Yeah, it's just don't look at it. Just don't even breathe on it. Just leave it. It's in a better place.
Yeah.
Hey, just quickly, because I'd love to just get on to playing some Halo multis, but the Game Awards, Game of the Year nominations,
Controversial, especially from our mate Zulu.
they are
What did he say?
out.
Mm.
So, Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village. All got nods.
I don't
Really?
think Forza's even in the running.
It's
Came
not.
out too late, didn't it?
Excuse me. No, well,
No, Forza's in a couple of other categories.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's in some things.
Yeah.
But not for Game of the Year.
Well, Forza's an
Yeah.
interesting one, and I agree with Zula on this. Forza 5 is incredible. It is amazing, but it's essentially Forza 4 in Mexico.
Mm.
And I got to hand it to him. He's right there. So I as far as Game of the Year, I agree it shouldn't be in that list.
It has a story to it this time. Instead of just getting barked at by a bunch of British people, you're now getting barked at by Mexican people, and you can talk back. Like there's actually like character growth and people you care for.
Yeah, but I guess like in terms of gameplay and like it's just a lot. It's just a lot that's been carried over.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
But also, like,
But
does
like-
this? I don't know.
Well, it
Does
hasn't.
this?
I mean,
Is this a-
Tekken. They've got how many Tekkens now, and that's all fighting.
I know that. Yeah, sure. But I mean, Tekken's not in Game of the Year.
Tekken
I
shouldn't
think-
be in the It's not very good.
I don't think Tekken's even in the best fighting game of the year.
What about for the year it came out? Because there hasn't been one in like 9
And it-
years.
I don't know.
Mhm.
There's for best fighting game. There's one called Demon Slayer, Guilty Gear Strive, Melty Blood, which I just quite like that name for a fighting game, just quietly. Nickelodeon All Star Brawl and Virtual Fighter 5.
Well,
Hey, All-Star Brawl.
Demon Slayer would be based off off the anime.
Mm. Well, and the only one of those that I've heard of the Virtual Fighter series. I didn't realize they'd released another game, but yeah, the Nickelodeon All Star Brawl is the only one I've heard of. In that,
Isn't the Virtua Fighter ones the one with the wiggly titties? Or no, that's Dead or Alive.
yeah,
That's in real life.
Yeah, the titty one that they used to sell.
I thought Hades.
It's literally a titty game with
It is,
fighting
it is.
with fighting
That
stuff.
is.
It is.
they gave up on that and just went straight for a beach volleyball game after a while.
People still came back for the lack of clothes that you pay $80 per dress for on Steam.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't look, honest.
Oh, that's right. Hades won IGN's Game of the Year.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
That was last year, though.
That was last
because
year.
Hades is a year old now.
Yeah.
Or an indie game.
Last of Us
that
Part 2 was
incredible.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so good.
And to be released, when a whole bunch of other Flavor of the Month games came out, like you had Among Us, Phasmo, Walson, like a whole bunch of other these games where it's like, oh yeah, cool, let's play it for a week or two. But yeah, Hades was kind of filled into that bracket of Flavor of the Month, but was good enough to keep people playing.
Mm.
Oh, I'm still playing it, and I haven't. I've not won past Hades yet. I haven't won past him.
Boy. Oh boy.
It's still $50 on Switch or something, isn't it? Like, it's still money
and worth
right,
every
at the
cent.
moment.
Well, it only came out on Switch only a few months ago.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
It's still a new release.
Switch is so behind, and it's killing me.
It's on Game Pass Ultimate now.
35 or 36 on Steam.
Well, you saw how many Steam games I have. I don't need another one there.
It's true.
1100 plus, but yeah. Game Pass, yeah.
I just can't believe that I've been playing it for as long as I've been playing it, and I'm still getting fresh dialogue, fresh unlocks. Like it's nuts.
Well,
it's just
a lot
so
of
much in
people
there.
were like hardcore Isaac players, went across and tried it out and played it for a bit, and it's the exact same kind of gameplay and game style because it's it is a roguelike or roguelite, whatever it falls under. But yeah, it's there's just so much content to it. It's insane.
Anything that should have been in the Game Awards, Noms? I mean, I'm pretty happy with that list. That's a good list.
I'm surprised Deathloop's there, to be honest. All the reviews I've read on it, besides, it's good, it doesn't really have a lot of replayability. Like, it was really good for a long time, but then it's like, but once your time's done, it's like, the story's kind of cool, but, there's no urge to come back and do more.
But, does replayability factor highly in the priorities list or is it just playability? You know what I mean? Like, is the bare minimum?
Dread doesn't have a huge amount of replayability. I mean, you can go back and find everything, but once you found everything, it's not like a Hades where you keep trying to go back, or even like Psychonauts 2. I would say that people played Psychonauts 2 for the story, and there's the collectibles again, but I don't think many people would go back and play that again and again and again.
Yeah. Like I said, I guess it comes down to the genre as well. Like, some games straight up are not made to be replayable.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe replayability wasn't the right term. I think it was more a case of
longevity.
A couple of people that don't. Yeah, kind of. A couple of people I know that have put 20 to 30 hours into it, not completed the story. They've just put 20 to 30 hours. Yeah, 20 to 30 hours into it, and then gone. It's just rinse and repeat. You do this, you do that, you do this, you move on a bit. You do this, you do that, you do this, you move on a bit, and you keep going until you get to the end, and eventually you do a little bit more, and then you win the game. GG, move on, next game. It's quite a common review out there that people have played it, and then they've gone, well, yeah, it's a game. The idea is cool. Don't get me wrong. I liked the idea. I liked the story behind it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm surprised it's being given the nod for Game of the Year.
I reckon it will come down to It Takes Two and Psychonauts 2.
I gave Psychonauts 2 another go after I told you it was crashing for me after the first 20 minutes or so. And yeah, absolutely. Psychonauts 2 deserves it, 100%.
Like for it to the way that they integrate like mental awareness themes throughout the game, and it's almost like a very woke thing to say because it's just part of this current generation, right? But I have a genuine admiration for how they managed to weave all of that through the story and just make it so fun. It's so fun. The story is good. The dialogue is great. The level design is fantastic. There's heaps of it and heaps of reasons to keep coming back to play it. And then it's just clever. Like, the scripting is just so clever. And for me, that's why it sticks out above everything else. But the other thing that, the reason why I sort of throw It Takes Two out there is because in terms of thinking about these games holistically in terms of how you play them, It Takes Two is probably the most unique one.
Such a buzzword, holistically.
Holistically.
My old boss used to say that all the time. It was like, we almost had like a meeting bingo with him. Like, what buzzwords is he going to use this meeting? That was on me.
Every time someone says holistic, I think of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. That was like a book that Douglas Adams wrote after Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And there's been a couple of TV shows, but his whole thing was you investigated the interconnectedness of all things. So you just went where life took you pretty much. And he had this, he called it his Zen Driving Technique, where he just followed the car in front of him. And, you know, he didn't often end up where he wanted to go, but he ended up where he needed to be, was his, he used to say.
That was like a entry in the Grim Fandango series almost.
Oh, once again, it's Douglas Adams, so, you know, but it was good. Well, what about, because there's the Indie Game of the Year category as well. I'm glad to see.
There's not even a question for that for me.
Go on.
It's Isaac Repentance, the new DLC for Binding of Isaac.
Okay.
Hands down, without a question, should take Indie Game of the Year.
It's not on the list.
Seriously? Maybe because it's a DLC. It's not a standalone game. Maybe.
But for the Game Awards, we've got 12 Minutes, which was that like time looping one that James McAvoy voiced, and
that was good.
Daisy Ridley, yeah.
That was good.
Death's Door, which I played to death. I absolutely loved that. I got like a preview copy of it to review, and I had 100% of that game before it had come out, just on that, because I just wanted to play it so much. It was such a good game. Inscription's in there, which was like a card-based game, which looked interesting, but not quite my cup of tea. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which I remember hearing about, but don't remember too much more. And Loop.
Any of these?
Hey,
I haven't heard of any of these.
I've heard of them. I just haven't. Yeah, just didn't look too much into them. But Loop Hero is the last one as well.
Best debut indie game, Valheim. Probably Valheim, right?
Yeah, that'll get it. That'll do it.
I mean, I really enjoyed The Forgotten City. It was a really good mystery. Like, I loved the story. And I haven't had a good mystery like that for quite some time. I enjoyed the setting, all of that. I just thought it was a really well put together game, and it was set in a place that I really love. But that's just a personal, just personal love. But there was just so much buzz around Valheim.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like the Fortnite of Minecraft-esque style titles. It's for a while there, it was the game everyone was going apeshit for. In fact, I'm still this like, so let's have a look at Twitch, see how many are currently viewing it.
While you're looking at that, here's one for you. So best RPG.
I'm looking at that now.
You're looking at that now? Are you laughing? I know why you're laughing. And it's, well, it's an interesting one. Like, I mean, does Cyberpunk 2077 really deserve a place in there given what happened? But so that to me kind of, I look at it and I go, okay, if you took away the piss poor launch and the lying about, how it plays on previous generations of games and all of that, so you took away all that shit and you just had the bare ass Cyberpunk 2077 on the best console as it was meant to be delivered. I played it on the Series X and it ran beautifully. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There was just so much game that I got bored. And I think like the everything that happened around me as well, to do with that game and then the way that they delivered it just impacted me too much. And I was like, I'm going to play other shit. But, looking at it as just the game, if it was just on Xbox Series X where I played it and it ran really, really well, does it deserve to be there? Maybe it does. I don't know.
On the flip side of that, you can't just look at just the game when maybe you've had a good experience, but 50% of the people that played the game may have played it on previous generations. You just don't know.
Yeah.
Fair
point.
If you look at it in isolation of the game that it was supposed to be, I think it deserves to be on there. I really enjoyed Cyberpunk. I was played it on the Series X as well, and I had a number of bugs. And for me, there was no one bug that was really game breaking. It was just death by 1,000 cuts. And because of everything that happened around it, I don't think it belongs on that list.
Fair enough.
Here's one interesting category that I don't understand why you would have these things in the same category. Best sim/strategy game. Like, how can you have that? literally, like you look at it's Age of Empires 4, which mind you just came out, a breath of fresh air ago. Evil Genius 2 World Domination, Humankind, Inscription, and then Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I'm annoyed that Star Wars Squadrons isn't on there because I love that game, man.
But
Actually, is there a VR category?
This is where it comes down to, we just quickly touch on it, but what Zulu said is it's just a bunch of people getting together and saying, hey, these are Game of the Year.
But we don't, I mean, the thing is,
on there?
we don't know who those people are, though. Like, there's a lot of credible people that now show up at the Game Awards. I mean, let's be honest. Like, the BAFTAs are one thing, which is something you referred to as well, and I'm down for it. Like, the BAFTAs, you can't go past that in terms of credibility and impact. But, the Game Awards can't be sniffed at. Like, it's arguably the biggest games award show of the year. I mean, if most companies are doing things like pulling out of E3 and running their own showcases, and yet they're still coming to the Game Awards to deliver big news, then I don't know. To me, it means something. I'd love to know who's judging. I'd love to know who's judging.
Yeah. Well, the community votes. I don't know who comes up with the original list, but after the original list has been selected, everybody can vote.
Right. Okay. Well, if the community votes, then I'm out. Yeah. I completely take back everything I said. Because the community should not be voting on this shit. Yeah. That is fucked. Fuck that. That is an absolute joke. Where's Zulu? I need to completely agree with him on everything he said in Discord today. I had no idea it was community vote.
Yeah, if you click into the categories, it's like all of the images of the games have sign in to vote beneath them.
Hang on, where's this? This will probably show up on. Was it in Riders?
No, it was in Daily Whip.
Oh, that's right.
Was it Daily Whip? Okay.
But yeah, just on there's a couple of the other.
Hang on. Before you do that,
esports categories.
Hey,
like
Zulu. I just found out that the Game Awards are community voted. I would like to take this opportunity
to apologize.
About saying they are credible. That was a terrible thing for me to say. And I'm sorry. All right. There we go.
But yeah, so like there's things like best esports game, best esports athlete, best esports team, coach, esports event, all that kind of stuff. Like you look at best esports game, that's Call of Duty, CS:GO, Dota 2, LoL, and Valorant. Like is that ever going to change year to year?
Valorant's only a game that's been out for a couple of years, so that's cracked its way in. So
what I mean, when you talk about esports, kind of and big esports, what else is there?
Rocket League.
Well,
internationally, is it as big as any of those?
No, not nowhere near as big as those. No.
I mean, Halo will come out swinging, right? Like, ESL dropped some big news about that.
Yeah, there's I think it was $100,000 prize. Was it $100,000 or $30,000?
We're gonna be talking about that on Nuts and Bolts tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah?
We're moving it to tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I tagged. Here it is. I tagged Straight, Jaina, and Flexi. The first Halo Infinite Championship Series has been announced, and the total prize pool is $3 million.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Maybe Flexi can go in since he's Platinum 1 in ranked.
Somehow. How the fuck did I said silver 1 or whatever the lowest bronze is.
Wood 5.
Wood 5. Not even a metal, like not even a wood, just water. Some lukewarm room temperature water. 7.
Right.
No, I got Platinum 1.
That's funny.
Okay, if there is an award for most anticipated game, I'm out.
I saw that.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And you give an award for the game that everybody's looking forward to.
Guess what the most anticipated game
Anybody
was?
that says anything other than Breath of the Wild 2 is wrong.
For fuck's sake.
Starfield? Excuse me? Elder Scrolls 6? Excuse me?
Wrong. Breath of the Wild 2 is the
I'm looking forward to Breath of the
there.
Wild. Yeah.
Bethesda Soft or Micro Thesda?
Microthesda.
Thank you. See, couldn't figure it out.
Microthesda? Microsoft.
Big
Bethesda.
Thes.
Bethesda.
Microsoft.
Microsoft. Okay, let's go with Microsoft.
Is there a category there where the Grand Theft Auto remaster can fall into? Mostly the bin.
Most anticipated
Oh,
game?
yeah,
Or
that's-
most unanticipated game?
That's been a bit.
Most failed release.
Copped a bit of a rough. Oh well, hang on. It's got a
No,
long
it beat
run up to
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk
It
2077.
beat Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
It beat Cyberpunk.
You reckon?
It failed.
Oh,
Yeah,
well-
absolutely.
yeah, because it's kind of just gone
It's
up in smoke, hasn't it?
It's literally a mobile game PC port.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, right, said, our game looks good. Just don't look over there.
Yep.
And these guys were like, our game looks good. It's fucked everywhere. Switch, fucked. PC, fucked. Console, fucked. No, it's not good on anything. It's completely broken. Across the board. At least Cyberpunk ran good on 3 different systems. This is just cooked from the oven. Done. See you later. Don't even bother. Enjoy salmonella.
Fucked. Should we play some Halo?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
I reckon. I'm down for that.
All right. Thanks for watching and listening to the podcast.
Game on, legends!
Yes!
You have found us. You are here. You are watching our shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, look, if for some ungodly reason you do really love it, click subscribe. It means that you get notifications and stuff when we upload more of this gear. So, yeah. I mean, that's really it.
We have a heap of stuff going up all the time,
Yeah.
so make sure you don't want to miss any of it.
I mean, you know,
don't.
it won't put food on the table. We get that. It's not going to earn you money watching our things. It'll earn us money. We're not even monetized yet.
No, we're not. That's how bad it is.
But, I don't know, mate. Just do us a solid, I guess.
Please.
Cheers.
Cheers.